Okay, I'm gonna show you how to put hooks and wires on canvases and on frames. This is the canvas I'll be putting it on today. You'll either need a nail or a little thumbtack. We'll need some eye hooks. This size works fine. Need a pair of needle nose pliers with some wire cutters on them, either a ruler or measuring tape, and a hammer maybe if you have a nail, but if you have a thumbtack, you should be fine. So I usually use a thumbtack. It's 12 inches. So what I'm gonna do is either a third or a fourth of that length, depending on how heavy it is. The heavier the piece is, the kind of higher you want to do. So you'd want to do a quarter rather than a third. Okay, so with this, because it's not very heavy, I'm going to go to about a third, which is 4 inches. So I'm going to take my little tack and I'm just going to mark a little hole at 4 inches on the top. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, 4 inches. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and get you only need 2 eye hooks, and take my thumbtack and I'm gonna go on the inside of the canvas. The reason that you wanna do that is because if you happen to have 2 paintings butt to butt to each other, then this little eye hook won't be sticking out this way. Instead, it'll be on the inside, and I'll show you that a little bit. So I'm gonna take that spot, I'm gonna take my tack and I'm gonna like push my tack into the middle of that, and I'm gonna wiggle it around a little bit. And you're just making kind of like a pilot hole basically for your eye hook. So again, you can do this with your nail too, with a hammer. Usually I would just like put it on its side and do a little nail hammer action. Sometimes this wood is really soft and sometimes you get a piece that's a little bit rougher. My pilot hole is created on this side. I'm gonna take my eye hook and I'm just gonna twist it in. So normally what I do, honestly, is I lean this up against my head and kind of let it rest on my forehead, and I take both hands. So you're holding the base with your like less dominant hand, and you're grabbing the top with your more dominant hand, and you're just twisting and pushing in. You could also do this up against something. I just don't usually have anything. I'm usually doing this on my floor, twisting, or if it's light enough, I'm kind of just pushing down with my left hand. Standing it straight up right now is what I'm doing. Just twist it in. You can always use your needle nose pliers and just do a couple twists to get it a little tighter. You want it to be to where the eye hook is just the little hole kind of sticking out, so it'll look like this. And you want it facing outwards like this, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one. This one was pretty easy too, actually. I'm surprised. I thought that one was gonna be difficult. Just it so that they're both facing forward and they're both on the same plane. Again, double check about the upright position of this. I'm gonna take my wire. Now, you don't need super heavy wire if you don't have a heavy piece. So for instance, this one is 10-pound wire. Just got it like at Walmart. You can get heavier, but you don't need like, unless you have a really heavy frame, you don't need like 50-pound or anything like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pull this to where it's about maybe an inch or 2 outside of the canvas widthwise. And then I'm actually gonna fold it in half right there. And I'm gonna pull this out and then cut it where that, where it meets up there. So now you have 2 layered over. So I like to do this double method. So you can see there's a loop on that side and then there are 2 free ends on that side. So it's just doubled over and it's a couple inches outside of the length of this. I'm gonna take the side that's looped over first, okay? And I'm gonna stick it through from the bottom. It doesn't matter which size you start with. And then what I'm going to do is, with that loop through now, I'm gonna take the 2 free wires and put them through this loop. And then I'm going to tighten this down. You can kind of wiggle it and pull, that'll kind of tighten it. So now, what you'll see here is that it is looped around and it's secure right here, okay? So that's like not really gonna go anywhere. You could potentially go through the loop a couple of times here, but I don't usually, especially again when it's a little lighter canvas. So now I have my ends with the 2 ends, and I'm going to put those from the back to inside or through the front. Put them from the back, and then I'm just gonna pull this kind of tight. You wanna give a little bit of give here. Don't want it like, guitar string tight, but also we don't want it way up here either. Just give it a little bit of give, and then you're gonna bend the wire. And what I do at this point, I have it like totally bent, and I'm gonna stick the wire through again, through the eye hook from the back, and just pull that tight. So a little bit of give there. And then at this point, I'm gonna take these 2 and I'm going to go really close to the eye hook and begin to wrap this around in a very tight coil. So it's really close to the eye hook right here. I did this one wrap, didn't go all the way around yet, but I'm going to start wrapping it around in a very tight coil. You can even like overlap some of the coils. It's not really a big deal. You want a nice clean wrap here, and you can keep wrapping this piece, or you can cut it after you've wrapped it. And then once it gets to that end point, there should be some sticking out, and that's where you'll just take your pliers and kind of squeeze it so that it lays flat to the rest of it. You gotta kind of squeeze it a couple times to get it to lay flat there. And just make sure when you touch it, it doesn't, you know, have any pokey parts. And there you have it. Wire on the back of your canvas. When it comes to a frame, you can also do that same method. Unfortunately, with a frame, it is going to stick out. That's what I was talking about before, how I don't like putting them on the outside of my canvases because it sticks out and could potentially scratch artwork behind it or scratch glass behind it. I always recommend when you're transporting artwork, you do face-to-face and butt-to-butt. Okay, I do that anyway, even when my canvases are strung like that. So anyway, there's this option that you can do with these. Another option would be these little guys. Sometimes they're round, sometimes they're triangle like this, but they come with little tiny screws. And basically you would, again, measure, put your mark, and then we are just going to be putting these in at an angle, like so, not sideways, because if you ever want to get your artwork out, it can be a little bit more challenging. So my recommendation would be like this. And again, you want to just have a little bit of give on your wire. Hope that this was a clear enough video, and yeah, you guys have a great day.